Welcome to Choice Compass. Today, we're diving into a really interesting question for anyone looking to build their own personal AI. Should you run OpenClaw on a Raspberry Pi or a Mac Mini? Let's figure it out. So you're all set to get OpenClaw up and running. I mean, who wouldn't want their own self-hosted AI assistant that can automate your browser, manage your messages, and even write code? It's a seriously cool project. But right out of the gate, you hit a major fork in the road. What hardware are you actually going to run it on? This first choice, well, it pretty much defines everything that comes next. And that brings us to our two main contenders today. In one corner, you've got the Raspberry Pi 5, the absolute favorite for hobbyists and experimenters, coming in at around 95 euros. And in the other corner, the sleek Mac Mini M4, a powerhouse that'll set you back 650 euros or more. The price gap is, well, it's massive, and so is the philosophy behind each one. Let's start with the budget-friendly tinkerer's dream. First up, the Raspberry Pi. For a lot of us, this is the go-to starting point for pretty much any DIY tech project, and honestly, for some very good reasons. The appeal of the Pi is just so obvious, right? The price is incredibly low, and it sips power, which means you can leave it running 24/7 and not even notice it on your electricity bill. On top of that, you've got this huge community behind it and the ability to connect all sorts of hardware, like cameras and sensors. It's the ultimate playground for tinkering. And that really gets to the heart of the Pi's role in this setup. Its real strength is being a gateway. Think of it as a fantastic, low-cost command center that runs the core OpenClaw services and connects them to the really powerful AI models living in the cloud. The Pi is your controller, but the heavy lifting, that happens somewhere else. Okay, now let's completely flip the script and look at the other end of the spectrum. If the Pi is the scrappy, do-it-yourself experimenter, the Mac Mini is the polished, ready-to-go professional. Yeah, the Mac Mini is a totally different animal. Thanks to that Apple Silicon, it has the raw power and, crucially, the unified memory to run some pretty sophisticated AI models. We're talking up to 13 billion parameters, right there on the machine itself. That means more privacy, potentially faster responses, and you get it all in a super quiet, compact little box. In fact, its performance is so perfect for this kind of work that it's basically become the default hardware for serious OpenClaw users. The demand is so high that these little machines are reportedly just flying off the shelves. It's the top pick if you want maximum local power without having to build some giant, noisy server. Okay, so a cheap tinker's board versus a pricey powerhouse. Seems like a simple choice based on your wallet, doesn't it? Well, not so fast. The sticker price is really only the beginning of the story. Let's take a closer look at the Pi. That low price is the main attraction for sure. But what are you actually giving up to get that price tag? And this is the Pi's biggest catch. It has no real GPU, no special hardware for AI. Testers have found that even if you try to add on specialized hardware, it just can't handle the massive prompt sizes that OpenClaw needs to run AI locally. So with the Pi, you are 100% reliant on the cloud. So the Mac Mini is the clear winner then, since it can run models locally. Hold on. Because while you can run some models on the Mac, many of OpenClaw's most powerful features still lean on cloud APIs. And this, my friends, is where the costs can get absolutely terrifying. Just listen to this cautionary tale from developer Kevin McAleer. He set up an OpenClaw agent, he called it Milton, on his shiny new Mac Mini. In just 2 days, 48 hours, that agent completely burned through his entire monthly allotment of premium API requests. Poof, gone. So why is it so ridiculously expensive? Because every single time OpenClaw talks to a cloud AI, it sends this huge package of information, which is measured in something called tokens. This isn't just your question, it's the system prompt, a list of all the tools it can use, and your entire conversation history. We're talking tens of thousands of tokens before you've even asked it to do a single thing. And here's the real kicker. By default, OpenClaw does a little heartbeat check every 30 minutes. It sends that entire context to the cloud just to ask, hey, got anything new for me? So just for the agent to sit there, completely idle, you could be looking at a bill for a staggering $180 per month. So the Pi is too limited, and the Mac Mini could have these insane running costs. How in the world are you supposed to make a confident choice here? It all comes down to matching the hardware to what you actually want to do. Let's put everything side by side. This table really makes the trade-offs crystal clear. The Pi is just unbeatable on upfront cost and power use, but it has zero local AI capability.
The Mac Mini costs way more to buy, but its powerful neural engine gives you the option to run models locally, and that can be a huge part of managing those running costs.
So here's the bottom line. Go with the Raspberry Pi if you're a tinkerer, a learner, or if budget is your absolute #1 priority. It's the perfect, low-risk way to get your feet wet and explore what OpenClaw can do, as long as you know that you'll be relying completely on the cloud for all the smarts. On the other hand, you should choose the Mac Mini if performance is what you're after. If you want to run powerful models locally, maybe for privacy reasons, or if you just want the most capable, polished experience right out of the box, and you're prepared to keep a close eye on your API usage to avoid those crazy bills. You see, in the end, the choice isn't just about the hardware, it's about your ambition for the project. Are you building a fun weekend experiment? Or are you investing in a powerful, always-on AI assistant for the long haul? The path you choose is up to you. We break down every option A versus option B scenario by comparing practical features against creative solutions. Our mission is to provide clarity, helping you save time and money. Subscribe to Choice Compass and transform every difficult dilemma into a clear, confident choice. See you next time.